I know lots of people are considering moving to Atlanta as they're looking for the lower cost of living, tired of the crazy high prices and the out of control home prices. But the truth is that the cost of living here is really only a little less than other major US cities, unless you're from LA, which is practically a different country. So let's take a look at some of the day-to-day expenses here in the metro Atlanta area so that you can get a good idea for what the cost of living is like here. We'll take a look at utilities. We'll also take a look at things like groceries, taxes, property insurance, and home prices. Right away, groceries are certainly one of the things to think about when it comes to the cost of living. When it comes to groceries here in metro Atlanta, it really just depends on which grocery store you use. Of course, we have like the super expensive grocery stores like Whole Foods, where you get the organic foods and everything is like the best, but of course that's on the expensive side. And then we have the less expensive grocery stores, or like the far less expensive, which ones that I like Aldi or Lidl. Those are my favorite. But we have a few middle of the road grocery stores. Kroger and Publix are a few, and I actually just went to Kroger, got some video of some prices so you could see what the prices are like at this middle of the road grocery store. You can see this like deli cheese that they had here was $8.99 a pound. These apples were about $2 a pound. Bananas were 49 cents a pound. And so there's a few other things we've got here, some other produce, some other items in the grocery store. The eggs were $2.99 for a dozen. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what groceries are like here. For example, for my family of four, we usually spend about $150 per week on groceries. Actually, it's probably at least $150 a week. So definitely increasing in pricing here in Metro Atlanta for groceries, as we are seeing in every part of the US. What's up, y'all? My name is Victor with Atlanta Suburban Living, and we put out videos every week about what it's like to live in Atlanta and the surrounding suburbs of Atlanta. Another big factor when it comes to the cost of living is gas. So gas right now in the Metro Atlanta area is just under $3 a gallon at the time of filming this video, the beginning of October. There are some less expensive places, like again, Kroger has this kind of deal. I don't know if they do this in other parts of the country but if you're like a Kroger member, you kind of get a bit of a deal on the Kroger gas there. Sometimes it's 20 cents, sometimes it's 40 cents. It's a big deal, but the kind of standard pricing right now is just under $3. And we've been fluctuating at about $2.90 to $3 for a few months now. And this is actually a big deal because here in Metro Atlanta, most people who live here are car dependent. We don't have a lot of like public transportation. Most of the areas around here are not walkable. So you're going to be using your car a lot here, especially because of the way that Metro Atlanta is kind of like outlined. It's like many people live in the suburbs around Atlanta and then drive to the middle of Atlanta for work or drive to another suburb for work. So definitely lots of driving here in the Metro Atlanta area. And then home insurance is certainly a big one. I know many people who are like in Florida, the insurance there is out of control. I cannot believe what you guys pay for insurance in Florida, but it's definitely a lot less here in Metro Atlanta. If you're wanting to move here to the Metro Atlanta area to get away from those crazy high insurance prices, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. I'm the one who answers those phone calls, those text messages, those emails. Thanks so much to everybody who has reached out. I'm always happy to help. But for an example, so that you can kind of see what I'm paying for my home insurance here in Metro Atlanta, it's a $2,500 deductible that I have. And for my pretty average, modest home here, the yearly premium is about $850. So a great deal. Now, that's not super normal. I did shop around a lot for that home insurance. And again, the deductible is a little high. So it certainly depends on the different companies you use and what the deductible is like, but that's what I'm paying for home insurance, just to give you an idea of what it costs here. Another big one is property taxes. Now, property taxes are usually roughly 1% of the value of the home, but it's different in different parts of Metro Atlanta. So, here are a few examples that I found around the Metro Atlanta area. These are just random homes that are like of average home prices. So, this is just a couple examples that I found here. 1350 Taylor Oaks Drive. Again, very average size, average price home, about 425,000 it was recently sold for. And you can see I pulled the county tax bill for this home. It comes out to $3,752 for the year. Now, this is in Fulton County, and so it's a little bit less. It's looking like in Fulton County. I've also got another one to show you, but this other one here in Fulton County, 217 Skyland Drive. Again, recently sold for about an average home price. The yearly property taxes for this one are $3,118. However, when we look at Cobb County, it's a little bit different. Cobb County property taxes, from what I just pulled here, seem to be a little bit higher for this average home, 1540 North Milford Creek Lane. Again, recently sold for $425. The property tax bill for this one is $4,300. So a little bit more here. However, keep in mind that in Cobb County, they have a thing for people who are like senior citizens where they don't have to pay for the school portion of the property taxes. And that's a big deal. You can see even from this tax bill, you can see where the school portion of that $4,300 is $2,722. So it's more than half of the property taxes come from the school part of the property taxes. So for senior citizens who don't have to pay that here in Cobb County, it's a great deal. But let's also talk a little bit more about home prices, because this is really one of the things that I think surprises people the most. The most expensive month for like the highest property values here in Metro Atlanta tends to be June. And so in June of 2024, the average sold price in all of Metro Atlanta for a home was $458,000. When we compare that to last year, June of 2023, the average home price was $435,000. So you can see from the most expensive month in one year to the most expensive in the next year, a big jump in home prices. And this has been the same for every year past. If we look back at 2020, 21, 22, it's the same every year. Home prices continue to increase. I know many people are like, oh, they're wanting to come to Metro Atlanta to find that super lower cost of living. And while it is kind of a bit lower compared to other major US cities, it's not much lower. Again, unless we're comparing to like LA or San Francisco or something like that, the cost of living here is just a little lower than other major US cities. And I want to make sure that we're being very transparent on this channel about what the cost of living is like, or anything that we're talking about, so that you have all of the information. And so those numbers kind of really jump out to me. Another big one is when we look at the month of the year where the home prices are the least, that's typically in January. So in January of 24, the average sold price for a home was $400,000. And then in January of 23, it was $385,000. So again, the same thing we're seeing every year. These home prices continue to increase every year. And so if you're waiting for the year where it's like the home prices are going to be a lot less in Metro Atlanta than the previous year, you're going to be waiting for a long time. It's not something that I would suggest. Now, we certainly do have the up and down. The spring and the summer tend to be the busier time of year with the higher home values, and the winter and fall tend to be where there are lower home values. So you can certainly time it a little bit that way, but there isn't one year that's better than another. And then when it comes to utilities, what I typically pay for here is about $150 per month for electric, and then usually about $100 per month for gas. So we have like the heater runs on natural gas. Sometimes in different homes, the stove will run on natural gas. And so that gas bill tends to be higher in the wintertime and lower in the summertime, and the same for the electric bill. And then the water bill here, I pay about $50 to $75 per month for water. Internet, I pay about $60 per month. This is for like high speed, like 300 megabyte download speed or 300 gigabyte download speed. It's one of those two. I know that's probably a very big difference, but it's like the high speed fiber internet is like $60 a month. Now, not every part of Metro Atlanta has high-speed fiber internet. This is huge. I know this might be surprising to you in 2024 that like a major city like Atlanta wouldn't all have fiber internet. It surprises me as well. I can't believe it. But there are some parts of Metro Atlanta that don't have high speed. They're still using like, I don't know, dial up or cable internet. And it's like you're lucky to get 8 megabyte download speed. And so that's certainly something that you need to check when you are home shopping. There's definitely a lot of other cons even to living in the Metro Atlanta area, not just the high speed fiber internet thing, but there's some downsides to living here that we want to make sure you know about. In fact, I made an entire video about the pros and the cons of living in Metro Atlanta. You can check out that video right here. I'll see you in the next one.